Hey Bears fans, what a time to be following this team, right? You could just feel in the air that energy, that cautious excitement that maybe, just maybe, things are finally changing in Chicago. After years of searching, missing, rebuilding, and hoping, it feels like the Bears might finally have their quarterback. And not just a good one, a special one. Caleb Williams has arrived, and the entire NFL is starting to take notice. The national talk shows are buzzing. Analysts who never gave Chicago credit are suddenly leaning forward, and everyone's realizing that something real might be happening at Soldier Field. You hear it in the way people talk about him now. It's no longer about potential or projections. It's about presence. Caleb steps on the field, and there's this sense of control, this calm under pressure that makes you stop and watch. He's got that thing, the unteachable quality that separates the good from the great, the clutch gene. You can't measure in stats, you just see it when the lights are brightest. Fourth quarter, down by 2 possessions, and he's out there slinging the ball, moving the chains, taking hits, and still keeping his eyes downfield. It's wild how composed he looks for someone so young. And it's not just the poise. Physically, the guy is a tank. He takes hits that would break most quarterbacks in half, pops right back up, and looks ready for the next play. Last season, he was sacked over 60 times, and never missed a game. That tells you everything about his toughness. This year, he's been even more efficient, learning when to escape, when to slide, and when to lower his shoulder and fight for those extra yards. He's already forced more missed tackles than any other quarterback in the league, and that's not an exaggeration. We're talking 9 more than Josh Allen, and that's saying something. You can't teach the kind of balance between strength and agility. And here's what's crazy. As strong as he is physically, Caleb's mental game is catching up fast. He's starting to master the timing, the reads, the patience to stay in rhythm with Ben Johnson's system. You can see the chemistry building between them. Ben knows exactly how to use Caleb's skill set, letting him extend plays, design rollouts, and still maintain a structure where he's not just freelancing out there. It's the best of both worlds, a disciplined system with room for creativity. You can tell they're still growing together, still ironing out the little details, but it already looks promising. Former coaches and players have started to say it out loud too. Rex Ryan called him a generational talent, and honestly, that's not hyperbole. When you combine that kind of arm strength, vision, and durability, you're talking about a ceiling that few players ever reach. What makes Caleb different is that he's not a finished product yet, and everyone knows it. You watch him, and you can tell there's another level coming. Sure, there's still a few missed throws here and there, some inconsistency on the short and intermediate routes, but that's normal for a rookie quarterback adjusting to NFL speed. The thing that stands out is how quickly he learns from it. Look at his accuracy metrics. On paper, the completion percentage doesn't blow you away, but when you adjust for drops, it's much higher. You can see he's making the right reads. The ball just isn't always being caught. And despite that, he's still keeping the offense explosive without turning the ball over. That combination, creating big plays while protecting the football, that's what separates winners from stat padders. It's what makes a quarterback reliable when it matters most. You can live with a few incompletions if your guy's giving you 20-plus yard gains and not throwing picks. And speaking of big plays, how about those fourth-quarter drives? Caleb has this gear he kicks into when the game's on the line. You saw it against Minnesota. That run where he broke outside, sprinted down the sideline, stumbled at the 2, then punched it in on the next play. He looked like he was running 40 miles an hour, just gliding past the linebackers like they were standing still. That's the same burst we saw in college, but now he's doing it against NFL defenses, against grown men who pride themselves on closing those angles. It's not just about speed either. It's the awareness, knowing when to tuck it, when to stay in bounds, and when to trust his instincts. Pat McAfee said it perfectly. Caleb looks faster this year. He's stronger, leaner, and you can tell he's taken his off-season work seriously. That mix of strength and acceleration makes him a nightmare for defenders because even when you think you've got him contained, he just slips out, resets his feet, and either finds someone downfield or takes off for the first down himself. He's not looking to run first. He's looking to throw, but when he decides to go, he's all in, and that makes him dangerous. You can tell his teammates feel that too. Ben Johnson talked about it in the locker room. saying this guy's got ice in his veins. You don't say that about every young quarterback. It's something you earn by stepping up in big moments and proving it over and over. When your coach gives you the game ball after a comeback win and tells the locker room the best is yet to come, that's not just hype. That's belief. That's trust being built inside that locker room brick by brick. Now, is he perfect? Of course not. He's still figuring out when to take the safe throw, when to push the ball downfield, and how to balance risk with reward. But you can already see the flashes of what's coming. The sack avoidance alone has been elite. It's like he has this sixth sense for when the pocket's collapsing, when to shift a step to the left, or when to just bail out and make something happen on the move. You can't coach that. That's feel. And in this league, that instinct can be the difference between a 10-yard loss and a 40-yard gain. There's a debate going around right now about where Caleb ranks among quarterbacks in his division. Some are already saying he's the best. That might be early, but it's not crazy. The talent is obvious, the leadership is growing, and the performances are starting to back it up. Jared Goff has the experience and the track record, sure, but Caleb's ceiling is higher. You can see it in every throw, every drive, every decision he makes under pressure. The kid's got all the tools, the arm strength, the mobility, the toughness, and that rare blend of confidence and composure. And the thing is, he's not just surviving out there. He's leading. You can feel the locker room responding to him. You can see veterans trusting him to make plays when it counts. That's not something that happens automatically, especially with a rookie quarterback. It happens when you've earned respect through grit, performance, and consistency. And right now, that's exactly what Caleb's doing, earning respect one drive at a time. So, as the season rolls on and the schedule gets tougher, this is where we really find out what the Bears are made of. It's one thing to beat the teams you're supposed to beat, but now the real tests are coming. The Browns, the Lions, the Ravens, teams that will challenge every inch of your progress. But the exciting part is that Chicago finally has a quarterback who makes you believe they can hang with anyone. Even if the season doesn't end in the playoffs, even if there are bumps along the way, this ride is different. It's filled with hope, with growth, with signs of something that could finally stick. And the beauty of it all is that this story is just beginning. You can see the learning curve flattening, the decision-making sharpening, the reads becoming faster. There's a rhythm forming between Caleb and his playmakers that wasn't there in September. Timing routes that once looked a half second off are now hitting in stride. The offensive line, too, seems to be responding to his energy, holding just long enough for him to make those off-platform throws that only a handful of quarterbacks can even attempt. You can tell the entire offense feeds off his calmness. When things get chaotic, he doesn't panic. He resets, locks in, and somehow makes a play happen. That kind of composure spreads through a team. There was a moment last week that said everything about where Caleb is right now as a leader. It was late in the fourth quarter, pressure mounting, crowd roaring, and you could see him communicating at the line, changing the protection, pointing things out to his linemen like a seasoned veteran. Then he snapped the ball, slid right to avoid pressure, and delivered a strike over the middle for a first down. No celebration, no ego, just pure focus. That's the kind of maturity that's hard to fake. He's 22 years old, but carries himself like he's been doing this for a decade. And that's where you start realizing what this means for Chicago's future. For years, this fan base has had to convince itself that next year will be different. There were glimpses of hope, flashes of talent, but it never lasted. This time, it feels sustainable. This time, it feels like the foundation is real. The Bears have a coach who understands how to design around his quarterback strengths, and a quarterback who's humble enough to keep growing within that structure. That's a rare combination. You usually get one or the other, not both at once. What stands out the most about Caleb's growth isn't just the highlight plays. It's the small details. The way he slides protections pre-snap, the way he manipulates safeties with his eyes, or how he subtly adjusts arm angles to fit throws between defenders. These are advanced concepts, the kind of things you see from guys like Mahomes or Burrow, and he's picking them up already. You can tell he studies film, that he's processing faster each week. Even when he misses, the next series usually shows that adjustment. That's what development looks like in real time. And let's talk about his arm for a second. The kid can flat out launch it. Some of those deep balls look effortless, like he's flicking a wrist and sending it 50 yards downfield on a rope. Defenders are learning that they can't bite on short routes, because if they do, it's over. He's got that ability to stretch the field vertically in a way that opens everything up underneath. And when you combine that with his ability to escape pressure, it puts defensive coordinators in a nightmare situation. Do you send extra rushers and risk him burning you deep? Or do you sit back in coverage and let him extend the play until someone breaks free? That's the dilemma he creates every week. There's also something to be said about how his running ability complements his passing. He's not out there trying to be a runner first, but when a lane opens, he punishes defenses with his legs. Those scrambles that turn third and long into first downs, that's demoralizing for opponents. You can almost see it on their faces, that frustration of doing everything right on defense, only for Caleb to improvise and move the chains anyway. That's what elite quarterbacks do. They don't just execute the play, they create beyond the play. What's impressive, too, is how aware he is in those moments. He doesn't take unnecessary hits. He knows when to slide, when to step out of bounds, when to protect himself. You can tell he's learning from veterans who understand longevity in the league. Durability is a skill, and Caleb seems to get that early. That's part of what's making this season so exciting. Not just the immediate results, but how sustainable it all looks. He's building habits that last. You also have to give credit to how he handles adversity. Every quarterback is going to have a bad game. The difference is how you respond. When he threw his first ugly interception of the year, you saw the emotion for a second, that flash of frustration, and then he moved on. Next series, he marched the team down the field like nothing happened. That short memory, that ability to reset mentally, is what great quarterbacks have. They don't let one mistake define the game. They bounce back stronger. Even the locker room dynamic is shifting around him. Veterans who've seen it all are starting to defer to Caleb's leadership. You can hear it in post-game interviews. They talk about his confidence, his poise, his voice in the huddle. That doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen unless a young player earns it. Every time he puts the team on his back in a pressure moment, every time he extends a drive on third down, he's earning more trust. And trust is the currency of a successful football team. The Bears haven't been this exciting to watch in years. Even in games where things get messy, you feel like they're never out of it. That's a huge shift from the past, when a two-score deficit basically meant game over. Now, with Caleb, there's always a sense that something can happen, that one play can flip everything. He's brought belief back to this fan base. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The buzz around Halas Hall has turned into a storm after rookie quarterback Caleb Williams reportedly let loose a few brutally honest comments that no one in Chicago's locker room or front office can ignore. Sources close to the team suggest that Williams, already known for his confidence and emotional edge, exploded behind closed doors, voicing frustrations that many inside the organization have quietly shared but never dared to say aloud. While the exact words haven't been confirmed, insiders describe a raw and unapologetic message from the young star, aimed not at teammates, but at what he perceives as deeper issues within the Bears culture. One witness called it the kind of speech that shakes a building, adding that Williams wasn't disrespectful, but he wasn't sugarcoating anything either. People around the team say this wasn't a tantrum. It was passion. Williams, often under a microscope since being drafted, seems to have reached a boiling point over what he sees as inconsistency and lack of accountability in key areas. He just said what everyone's been thinking, one player reportedly said. Only difference is he had the guts to say it out loud. Fans and analysts are split. Some see it as a sign of immaturity from a young quarterback still trying to find his footing in the NFL. Others believe it's the kind of fire Chicago has needed for years, a leader willing to challenge the status quo and demand more from a franchise long hungry for stability and success. Social media, of course, caught wind of the outburst within hours, fueling speculation about locker room tension. But those close to Williams insist it wasn't about ego, it was about standards. He's not trying to be a celebrity, one confidant said. He's trying to win, and sometimes telling the truth makes people uncomfortable. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.